Welcome to UK Paranormal Search, and tonight we find ourselves again at the infamous Derby Gaol, a place that is steeped in history. As the sun sets and darkness descends upon us, I'll be embarking on a daring solo investigation within these haunted walls. Join me as we venture into the heart of Derby Gaol, where we uncover the truth behind the haunted tales that shroud this place. Stay tuned for an unforgettable night of exploration and discovery as we investigate Derby Gaol. Derby Gaol, built in 1756, stands as a testament to a bygone era of punishment and despair. It is also said that Derby is the most haunted city in Great Britain, and within these walls are the ghosts of the past still lingering in the shadows. For centuries, this jail has borne witness to brutal executions and housed countless prisoners. Set beneath the road, this hidden relic of the past still stands as a grim reminder of the atrocities committed within the jail. Some say the spirits of Derby Gaol still wander its halls, trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead. And as long as its doors remain open, the shadows of the past will continue to haunt those who dare to enter.
This room, I mean, this would have been a day room for the prisoners, because they were allowed out during the day, you know, and they'd come and work in here. That's why it would have had a big window there. It had a fireplace at the back. Yeah. There is a fireplace through there, but it was so badly, because this was the gents' urinals when I took this place over, because this was a nightclub. But basically, situation here, there's a skeleton, right? We had a lady on one of the night vigils one night, fled, left the building, because she saw, funnily enough what I've seen, a grey, shadowy haze of a person shaped here in the corner. She thought it was to do with the skeleton. I'm convinced it's not, because before we turned this into what it is now, the murder room, this was Derby Police Museum. And here in the corner was a policeman's dummy, modern one, high-vis jacket, handcuffs, the lot. And it had been there for 5 years. Same spot, propped up against the wall. One night, 3:30 in the morning, luckily on CCTV, the dummy, this door locked, right? The dummy suddenly goes, 1, 2, and hurls itself across the room. Policeman's helmet bounces and hits the corner. Now, it's not possible. Of course it's not possible. There's nobody in the place. It's on camera. This door's locked. Just me being me, tick the normal boxes, yeah. Just, is it possible? Is it, if it's locked, right, and bolted, could someone, get their hands, no, come on. No. But you know, if they did, You'll see that on CCTV, won't you? I have only one explanation. Yeah, poltergeist activity in there, no doubt about it.
This is the condemned man's cell, a grim chamber where prisoners will spend the final night before facing execution. Within this cell, people have sensed feelings of sickness and tears have been shed by countless souls when they have entered this room. Near the cell door, a haunting tale lingers. Two brothers, known as the Jones brothers from Ashbourne, once occupied this very cell. Their crime was burglary, and unable to bear the weight of their impending doom, they chose to end their lives within these unforgiving confines. Their bodies were discovered hanging near the door, a tragic testament to the despair that lingers in this place. In death, their fate was no less cruel. They were laid to rest beneath the gallows in unconsecrated ground. Into the debtor's cell, a place rumoured to be more haunted than even the condemned man's cell. In times past, debtors found themselves confined within these walls until their debts were settled. Freedom was not granted until the debt was paid in full, and you also had to pay a blacksmith to remove the heavy chains that bounded them. Only then could they step out into the light of day once more. During renovations to the cell's window, a builder working within the confines of this cell witnessed something inexplicable. The cell door closing. It didn't do it once, but twice, seemingly on its own accord. The builder also was overcome with waves of nausea and unease, forcing him to retreat from this cell multiple times. The phenomena is not an isolated incident. Others who have ventured into this cell have reported similar sensations, an overwhelming feeling of sickness and a pressing need to flee. It's as if the very walls themselves hold the echoes of the past suffering, unwilling to release their hold on those who dare to intrude upon their domain.
We've done three events on Halloween, as I always do, and I said, right, I'm going to open the place up at 11 o'clock on Halloween after the events, and anybody wants to come down, the bar will be open. I'm going to do ghost stories for Halloween. So I'm sat here with a glass of whiskey, a couple sat there. This was full, people came back, everybody had a drink. Young lady sat there filming me, luckily. Behind you now is a CCTV camera, group of students that had done a ghost walk for all that. And all of a sudden, I'd done a story and then I handed over to a guy called Peter, who was telling a story. So I've always, have a drink, put it down, and I'm listening to Peter. And unbeknown to me, or anybody else for that matter, this glass starts to move across the table. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Threw itself and smashed on the floor. Everybody said, oh, gee, oh my God, did you? I said, Jesus Christ, hang on, whoa, 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 whoa. And I said, did you get it? Did you get it on camera? She says, I don't know. So, the first thing I do, because I'm sure you all know, that, you know, if you put your pint of beer on the bar and someone spilled beer on it, it can slide across on the liquid. So the first thing I'm doing is it, no guys, it isn't, it's not wet. So the young lady gets up and she says, no, he's telling the truth, it's not wet. So then, okay, so they bring me another glass, right, put it back there. I said, right, there's a road at the back here, Guard Street. It's 11:20 at night, but perhaps a lorry, a big, heavy lorry going by, vibration, yeah? So I'm going, right, glass there.
I wouldn't have thought it had been vibrations, Richard.
It couldn't be, but you've got to do this, you've got to tip them off. And then the last thing, a couple sat there, said, look, I know you didn't do this, but will you notice the table, just in case, right?
It takes some force to do that.
Yeah, and sure, I think somebody would have noticed. And the worst thing is I lost my whiskey.
I might leave that on there tonight, Richard.
Yeah, do, because honestly, by the way, it's on YouTube. You just put up Derby Gaol whiskey glass and it's there for everyone to see.
Great.
I have only got one explanation. Same explanation as the policeman's uniform in there. And other stuff that goes on in here. Yeah. So I don't know. All I know is this place is haunted. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Welcome to the Association Room, a space steeped in history. Once a bustling day room, the chamber also served as a final gathering place for for those condemned to meet their fate. Here, amidst the echoes of farewells and whispered prayers, the veil between the world grows thin. In the year 1817, a sombre event etched its mark upon these walls. Jeremy Brandworth met his end here, his family making the arduous journey from Sutton-in-Ashfield to bid him a final farewell. The raw emotions that have filled this room on that fateful day perhaps linger still to this day. Amongst the spectral sightings reported here, two figures stand out. A man cloaked in a crimson coat has been glimpsed, his presence a spectral anomaly that defies explanation. Alongside him, a bald-headed figure is said to frequent this space, his spectral form a haunting reminder of the souls who have passed through these doors. It is said that the emotions that once filled this room refuse to fade, lingering like restless spirits caught between worlds.
I hope tonight you have a good night. There's quite a gentleman actually working down here.
Oh yeah, you are, haven't you? Just told us story.
And he actually spent the night in here the other night, like you're doing now, and he was actually sat in the kitchen with his well, he was watching a video on whatever, and he swears to me that he could sense there was someone alongside him and he could hear breathing.
He said something about the candle going out as well.
He said we got some battery candles as well as real candles, and he walked past on his way. He's a carpenter and he's doing all sorts of jobs for me. And he said I walked past one way and the candle wasn't there, and I walked back a couple of minutes later, and the candle had come on. And he says I'm hearing footsteps all the time down here, not in this room, in the corridor.
I know when we came. I've been a few times, as you know, Richard. But I know when we came with, I think there's about 3 of us.
Yeah.
What we did, we called all the names out of each prisoner.
Of the prisoners.
Now there was one particular. It could have been. I can't remember. Right, looking back at the video, it could have been William Buxton. And when we mentioned,
William Buxton.
Now I was up this end, but they heard perfect footsteps. They said after mentioning.
Yeah, I'm convinced that because I have this affinity with William Buxton. Because you know the story of the door, don't you? William Buxton door. You know he signed the door here.
Yeah.
Well, you see, it took me 20 years to get that door back. Because when they were converting this 40 years ago into a nightclub, they were pulling the doors off the hinges and stuffing the doors down the side of the skips. And this guy, David Ryde, I know his name now, went and pulled one of them out of the skip and took it home with him, put it in his van, took it home.
That's terrible.
And when I opened the jail, he came in and showed me a photograph of the door, propped up against his sofa, and across the top of it was William Buxton, who was Derbyshire's Dick Turpin, a gentleman highwayman, unlike Dick Turpin, who wasn't a gentleman highwayman, but was an absolute gangster, rogue and thief. Whereas William Buxton, son of a farmer from Derbyshire, actually would give money back to people if they hadn't got enough money to pay for the tolls, like you would on the M6 nowadays, you know what I mean, paying the toll. And he'd been sentenced to death twice, and he was hanged in 1780 here. And before they hanged him, he signed that door in there. And just after COVID, we got a phone call at home from this old lady saying, would you like a door from Derby Gaol? And she was David Wright's sister-in-law, and he'd been dead in his flat for 3 months before they found him. And when they went in, that door was still propped up in his front room, in his flat, with William Buxton on top of it. Jesus, I mean, what a story! And there's a book in it. He's a top-notch highwayman, really is. And one day, if I live long enough, I'll write the book about Derbyshire's Dick Turpin. But I'm convinced, because of this, something I've got about him and with him, and the fact that this door came back to me after all these years, I think he haunts this place. I think he's still here.
A lot of people say that one.
I'm convinced. And now what you've just said to me about calling for William Buxton. The thing that really gets me, guys, is all these. I mean, you know, I hate to say it, but Most Haunted, well done, Most Haunted, fantastic job, created the most incredible awareness of the paranormal. But I would ask you, Did you ever actually see them investigate?
No.
No. As soon as anything happened, they screamed and ran off. And then went on to the next bit.
I was more interested watching you on Most Haunted Vision. Especially when they sent you off on your own.
Oh, I see, I'm frightened of ghosts.
But I remember you being on one of the episodes of Most Haunted. I don't know what you might be able to jog my memory, but I remember you all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you were in bed and you shot up, and I remember you were.
Oh shit!
I remember your words to this day, and it was, what the bloody hell was that?
Yeah, it's what I was on the Queen Mary.
That's good. Yeah.
Cabin 340 of the Queen Mary. Staying in the haunted cabin, alone, and bloody hell, that was fantastic. You see, would you believe it? Right, we'd been on the Queen Mary for nearly 3 weeks, and there's this haunted cabin. And when I do my filming and all, if I'm staying overnight, then I try and stay in a haunted pub or a haunted hotel, and I ask for the haunted bedroom. So what I couldn't understand was, why on earth wasn't someone spending the night in cabin 340? So I made a suggestion, and they said, yeah, you're. I said, no way, no, I ain't doing it. I'm frightened of ghosts, right? But they said, yes, you are, you're doing it. So of course, they volunteered me to do it. But what people don't realise is that the very large whiskey that I had before I dare stay in that room alone. And yeah, during the night, there was this crescendo of a noise, like something, like, I always describe it as something like 50 metal coat hangers being bounced against the walls. A metallic sound, which is typical of poltergeist activity. And then later on, that woke me up. But later on, I'm asleep, luckily, you hear footsteps going around my bed. And apparently, according to both David Wells and Derek, a child had been murdered in that room by its father. Mm. And you hear the footsteps going around the bed, and then you hear this little voice go, "Mummy." Really? Twice. Now I was asleep, luckily, and it wasn't until we got back to England and they started editing that they found this. Oh, and that was something special. That was real. Yeah. That was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I didn't know about it. Mm. Luckily. Which makes it more interesting, doesn't it? Yeah, but that was good. That was real. Because a lot of what happened on Most Haunted was real. Mm. Some of it wasn't, but that's another story. Yeah. I think you could tell sometimes by people's reactions what was. Yeah, of course. Do you know what I mean? What was true and what wasn't true. Yes, so true. Yeah. You see, I always say to people, "Have you ever heard of anybody shouting before they fainted?" No, of course you don't. No. But if you didn't shout, the camera wouldn't turn to you before you went down. Enough, Richard, stop. Enough, Richard.
So as I say, we're not walking on the camera all night, we're going to try some different things tonight. So we're just going to try a couple of EVPs. Some people get some really good ones. It's not something really I've been successful at getting. I've got an Olympus digital dictaphone here. It's something I've not really had much success on, but we'll try it tonight. I've down first and I don't make any movement. I want to stay perfectly still. It's picking up my jacket noise and stuff like that. So I want to stay perfectly still. So I'm calling that again to the spirits of Derby Gaol. Is there anybody with me tonight in this jail? Can you come closer to me? Come closer to this table. There's a device with an orange light on. You can communicate your thoughts through that device by sound. Can you maybe say your name? Tell me your age. Was you a prisoner? Was you a jailer? Are the Jones brothers here? Are you a child? want to give me a message? Do you wish me to leave this jail? Do you wish me to stay?
Derby Gaol. Is anybody with me tonight in this jail? Can you come closer to me? Come closer to this table. There's a device with a noise light on. You can communicate your thoughts through that device by sound. Can you maybe say your name? Tell me your age. Was you a jailer? Are the German brothers here? Are you a child? Do you want to give me a message? Do you wish me to leave this jail? Do you?
Listen, I want to tell you something now. Right. So, I'm doing the EVP in that room. I don't know if you heard it, although the camera's picked it up. I just ignored it, to be honest, but whether that was from outside, I really don't know, but I honestly, and this is honest to God, I could hear crying. Like a lady crying. Like a... Whether that was from outside, I don't know. But if that wasn't from outside, that was bloody impressive. But I'll never know. I really, really don't know. How I kept me cool in there listening to that when I heard that crying is beyond me. Because that was so clear. Is that you crying? Is that a lady crying? Do you need help? That was weird. I just don't know where it came from. But it was proper crying. I mean weeping crying. That was so odd. I just wish I knew where it came from. Because you can't hear traffic out there. So it could have been outside, I just don't know. But that was really, I don't know, it sounded like really weird crying. Not sort of crying that you'd really hear on the street, to be honest. It was proper whimpering. To know, I'd love to know if anybody's investigated Derby Gaol. Please tell me if you've heard anything like that investigating this jail. I'd love to know, so please let me know in the comments, please. Oh, so in the condemned man's cell now, just sat here, the door is open, because when I heard that, what I thought crying was, I thought it was from down this end. I've also left the dictaphone running in here, and that silly spirit box. But it's funny, I've just checked the phone, and this is going to sound really stupid, but there's old money on that bench, and I can't remember it being there before. There's 3 coins, old coins on that bench, and for the life of me, I can't remember seeing it when I put my phone down before. I know that's stupid, and it sounds stupid, but I'm just telling you the truth. I can't remember them old coins being on that bench. Okay, so we're in the condemned man's cell. A place.
I had one eye.
A place where you spent your last night. I'm sure there must be recordings in this wall of all the emotions that went on in your mind on your last night on earth when you was in this cell. And the door was locked, and all you could hear was the hustle and bustle of the jail still going on. Knowing your fate the next morning must have been absolutely horrendous.
I was religious.
Looking at some of the things that people were hanged for, and yeah, some of you did deserve it. Others probably not. But I'm not here to judge. To the 2 brothers that committed suicide in this cell, the Jones brothers, maybe you're with us tonight, are your emotions still in this stone of this building? I'm asking you tonight to come and communicate with me. Back to that crying, it was definitely, if it was female, it definitely wasn't a male cry. It didn't sound like a child's cry. That sounded like a real woman's cry. And it's doing me head in, because it was so clear. If that's come from inside this jail, then that is bloody interesting. But as I say, I just don't know. The logical explanation, it was from outside, I just don't know. It's doing me Sweden, because it was so clear. How I kept me cool in there just listening to that, I don't know. Because it was spooky at the same time. It was really spooky listening to that. I just tried to ignore it, and it went on for about, what, 7 or 8 seconds. I just hope the cameras picked it up. I really, really do. I'm just going to go outside just to see how busy the area is outside. It's well gone midnight now on a Sunday night. I know it's been a nice day and people have been out drinking and everything else, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go outside just to see how busy, and if that was not outside, that's one of the best things I've actually audibly heard ever. Let's go outside, just go have a look. Oh, let's just go look outside, just see how busy everywhere is. I didn't go quiet outside because there is people out there, not female, just a male talking on his phone. So I don't really want to go out with the camera, start drawing attention to myself out there. But yeah, going back to that laugh, going back to that cry before, that was really strange. It wasn't, even if it was outside, it wasn't the normal somebody crying, it was like the old fashioned sobbing. It was really, really strange. But as I say, it's one of them. I'm never ever gonna know if it was something in one of these cells or it was from outside. I honestly don't know. Say going back to being in this cell, it's just, when I was going about people getting upset and that in here, it makes me wonder if he does come in here and think about all the things that have happened, and it just makes him upset naturally, thinking of what happened to people, because it is weird being in here, thinking this is the last place, the last room, or the last night, and to think that you knew the next day that someone was going to come through that door, the hangman, or the jailer, sorry, take you into that association room to meet your family, to meet your friends, to say your last goodbyes, before then you were taken out to be executed. Absolutely horrendous. Some of them probably did deserve it, but being hanged for setting fire to a haystack, that's a bit gruesome. And this mannequin here, that is a lady as well, so I say it wasn't just men in here. Well, there again, was any ladies actually hung? I can't remember reading the lady's name out, to be honest. Maybe there was, don't know. Because I think she used to be in the debtor's cell next door. Do you want to come and touch me maybe?
Eyes.
Maybe come and touch my hand or touch my body, knock on the door, the cell door. It is a spooky place though when you're sat in here, because I'm looking onto the corridor outside and it's so dark. And there was a lady, she slept in this condemned man cell. It was the debtor's cell next door, I'm not sure. She spent the night in Derby Gaol by herself. She actually spent all night here, and she was asleep with a pillow and a blanket, and she said during the night the blankets were actually pulled off where she was sleeping. And she turned around, went back to sleep.
Little boy around you.
Little boy around me, is there? Yes, there is. There's a little boy right here at the side of me. That's right. That was interesting. Little boy behind you. There's a little boy here, stood up against the walls, if you've been told of. That's a bit strange, isn't it? There's a little boy with us. We know that this jail is haunted by a child. Is he with us tonight? Everything's gone quiet now. It's gone quiet outside. That thing's gone quiet as well. And what I'll do, I'll go into the debtor's cell, spend a little bit of time in there. And then before the end of the night we'll go back into that association room and just sit there at the table where I was sat last time when I heard that. What I thought sounds like
Passage.
a woman sobbing. So come on, Connor, last time in the condemned man cell now. Can you tell me your name? Can you tell me your name? There's another bang or click out there, but it could be anything. Can you tell me your name, please? There's 2 devices now, but you can speak through.
She will touch you.
Who this woman here, this lady? Was you the person who was sobbing, the lady? All of a sudden things feel like the atmosphere changes and it goes a little bit spooky. And then all of a sudden you feel okay again, and then all of a sudden it goes a bit spooky again. It's weird. Goes through these like little atmospheric changes while you're in here. I think a lot of it is your own head as well.
Freeze.
There's a big moth in here as well now, flying around. Just seen it on the infrared. But please, as I say, if anyone has been to Derby Gaol and investigated and you've heard a lady sobbing, please let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you, just see if anybody else has experienced that same thing. So come on, let's move on, let's go into the debtor's cell.
Age.
Oh, my legs. Right guys, okay, that coin is definitely moved. Let's try to get an angle where you can see. That coin looks like it's moved a bit left. Look, that's definitely moved, that one. That one looks like it's slightly moved. And that one looks like it's slightly moved. It looks like every one is slightly moved left. Not sure, let's see if they move again, or move a bit further. Can't remember knocking the table. I put my camera down on the table, maybe that was just enough to make it move, I don't know. The thoughts. So I have been outside, just gone through the back entrance. I'm doubting now whether it was a girl crying. I don't know, because, and I know I keep going back to the same old story, but I've been out the back, there is some imbeciles about somewhere in the vicinity. They just sound like from a zoo, to be honest. Nothing but imbeciles making these stupid noises, and didn't sound like a girl crying, but I can't hear them in here though, which is quite interesting. But there is, say, some imbeciles, just sounds like a load of orangutans in a zoo out there shouting and bawling and making all these stupid noises. Obviously adults. So I don't really know now. I don't know. I'll never know. So I'm not going to mention it again tonight. Okay, William Buxton, Marwood, Eton, Cocklane. Make yourself be known in Derby Gaol. I'm here all alone. There's nobody here apart from me. Let's go back into the room where I heard those noises before. makes me jump because I forget it's on. It really does make me jump. Those coins have definitely moved though, but it's funny how everyone seems to have moved left. I can't remember knocking the table, to be honest. You'll close one of these doors. The jailer, all these doors are open. We'll just go back and I left the app running now in the association room, so we'll go and check later if any words have come through. I thought that was interesting before when I sat over there when the app said little boy at the side of you or behind you. And that's where the little boy is. I don't know if you've seen it on camera before. Of course, it's definitely not moved at all. Now I've lost my torch again. I'm good at that. Everywhere I go, I forget where I put my torch. See your footsteps like this. God, he's one spooky arsehole, him. And again, he's looking the other way, but when you take the camera off, he's looking right at you. Weird. So that's our night come to an end here at Derby Gaol. It's been an absolutely fantastic night. Really enjoyed it, and a massive thank you to Richard Felix for letting me come in and investigate Derby Gaol tonight on my own. And hopefully next time I spoke with Richard and we're going to go over to maybe go and investigate the other prison. I think it's down Vennon Street. I'm not really sure where it is. I have been in once, but I can't really remember where it was. So thanks Richard for letting me in here tonight. Also, it's interesting, obviously the cry, or the lady what sounded like she was sobbing. As I say, I'll never know if it was inside the jail or outside, but at the time it's very interesting. Whether the cameras picked it up, obviously we'll know by now, but as far as I know now, I don't know, because obviously everything is pre-recorded on the camera, so at this moment in time as I'm talking to you, I don't know whether that cry has been picked up on camera or not. So it's time for me now to head home, and I'd say if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. And hopefully I will speak to you soon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.